I do not like broccoli. And I haven't liked it since I was a little kid. And my mother made me eat it. And I'm President of the United States. And I'm not going to eat any more broccoli.
Try it with a little bit of cheese sauce. Maybe that'll change your mind. Our next guest says she knows the inside scoop on some of our president's favorite foods. Linda Bauer, author of Capitol Hill Cooks, stopped by earlier this week. Take a look. So President Bush made it very clear that he hated broccoli.
Very much.
What your book is about are the things that presidents loved and sometimes became famous for at the White House. But before we get into that, you have a long history on Capitol Hill that a lot of us will never get to see.
I was very fortunate to be an intern during Watergate, and I went to all of the hearings during Watergate, loved Washington, was going to go to law school, and after 2 weeks of being there, I said I could never be a politician, but I wanted to go back to that beautiful city, and I did, and there I met my husband, who was he was a social aide for 5 presidents, and really had a wonderful experience living in Washington, knowing everybody, getting involved in the food idea of making such a book, and it has been something, a long haul. I've been doing it since the Reagan administration to collect all these recipes.
Do you think a lot of us just have, I guess we don't have really an idea of what it's like to really be in that hub? What can you tell us about that most Americans will never see and what we just don't realize?
Well, one thing, when they go to visit Washington, you can go and eat Senate bean soup in the Senate dining room as just a regular person. It's really exciting. You can go and have that experience. Almost everything is free to go into.
Oh, free? Did you say free?
And enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes. You can walk around and, you know, you can go in the Smithsonian for free and walk around the halls of the Capitol and all these things and have a great time and still get to taste some of the food in the different areas.
It's a great education. I think every American should go at some point. What you've done in this book, as I mentioned, is put down some of those favorite foods. And let's start off with this one right here, which George Washington loved.
Yes. This is she crab soup with sherry. And Martha Washington actually made this, and it's still served at times at the White House.
Huh, okay. And then over here we have this sweet corn pudding. Who was famous for this?
The famous gourmand, Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Very healthy.
I know why he liked this. This is good.
I will tell you something, Deborah. These 3 recipes I made yesterday in under an hour. So you can have people over, talk about history, and have a wonderful meal with friends. And that is one of the healthiest corn puddings you'll ever eat.
Well, no wonder he was able to come up with the Declaration of Independence. Here we go. This is awesome. Okay.
It really is easy. You make it in a blender. I mean, how easy is that? And bake it for a little bit, and that's it.
Okay. And then, of course, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
$1 Million Fudge. When Dwight married Mamie, she couldn't cook. She said she couldn't even boil water. She told my husband this when she was at the White House. And she said that this recipe earned her his absolute love and gratitude.
Wow.
This is so easy. You can make it with your kids. Cookie cutter it, and there you go. And you can have beautiful stars. Put some pretty sugar on top, and you've got a great dessert. But isn't it delicious?
This is really good. I see why she snagged the president. This is pretty good.
And I put some in some little boxes, and when your guests leave, they take a little bit with them, and they can learn history. And one of the things about doing this book is I've had so many people say, I loved this because I bought a book about the presidents. We learned to cook. We learned history. It is absolutely positive, and the best part is you're helping a hero.
Yes. In fact, I was going to get to that part, is that you have this book. Part of the proceeds go to benefit Helping a Hero. And for those of you who don't know what that organization is, we oftentimes think that when someone goes off and fights in war and comes back, if they've had any issues, that we take care of them. The money is not there. The services are not necessarily there for the government to do it, but there are a lot of private organizations like Helping a Hero that do it. And we have a hero with us today. We have Marty Gonzalez. Good morning. And his wife, Connie, is also with us. Hi. And Marty, you served in Iraq?
Yes, ma'am. Fallujah, Iraq.
Yeah. What was it that made you want to go into the armed services?
I just wanted to, you know, serve and, you know, do something that I thought would, you know, benefit me in life, and it was just an honor to be able to serve in the military.
Yeah, you did more than just serve. You're awarded 3 Purple Hearts and 2 bronze medals for your service. Tani, the tough part is obviously being married to somebody who's away, but when they come back home, life is not exactly the same, is it?
No, I think a lot of people believe that when their loved one comes home from the war, that's it, everything's done, and they can move on with their life. But I think a lot of people don't realize that there's real things such as PTSD and TBI, and then he has his physical injuries too.
Yeah, and those physical injuries, you know, at first you're saying just survive, just survive, just survive. Now the focus is on thriving.
It's now living. It's to just not just survive, but to live again. And that's something that I think any combat veteran fights every day, because some of their brothers didn't come home, and so they have a hard time, you know, living when they left some out on the battlefield.
Yeah, and Marty, I got to ask you, you know, there are a lot of people who don't realize what you go through, because when the doors are closed and you're back home, there is a battle, probably a bigger war, that you fight within yourself, isn't it?
Right. You know, you got trouble sleeping. You got trouble. You know, some of us, like me, have trouble getting around, and you know, we were able to do that before. So sometimes we have to grasp at what we can do now instead of, you know, remembering the past. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, and that's what my wife encourages me to do, and that's what you know, people, you know, like Helping a Hero, that donate and help out, encourages the veterans to keep doing, is you know, it helps us know that people are out there wanting to help us, and you know, it gives you that hope to the next day is going to be better.
In fact, with Helping a Hero, they were able to help you all with a home.
Yes.
What was that like, to find out that you got a home?
His response was, he was on the phone, he's like, okay, thanks, sure, and he hung up. I'm like, what was that about? He's like, they're giving me a house. I was like, what? And that's all your reaction? And he's like, well, I'll believe it when I see it. And I was like, okay, well, on November 12th, 2012, we got our house, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So what was it like to actually pull up to that house and there it is, believe it when you see it?
It was so surreal. You know, it pretty much, I couldn't even talk. I was speechless, crying. Just, you know, my son was calling me a girl. You know, it was just, you know, just unbelievable, really, to see what Americans do to help out, you know, their troops, or help, you know, just, it was an honor.
This story gets better, because Tani, you have been a stepmom to your 3 children, but you have some news that you got recently, and that is?
I am pregnant.
With your first child together. So congratulations to you two. And again, this is an example of, you could have been torn apart by all of this, but by having groups like Helping a Hero there, it helped to put you back together. We have to preserve our families in this country. That's what the fight is really all about. And thanks to people like you, who, when you buy this book, that part of those proceeds go to putting those families back together again. So thank you. Thank you. For more information on Helping a Hero, go to helpingahero.org. And for more details on how you can get a copy of Linda's cookbook, go to greatdayhouston.com. Up next, it's the summer movie season. Grant Goodman, remember him in the movie The Campaign? Anyway, he goes from actor to film critic as he rates the movies your children might enjoy.